Norman will follow Odell Beckham Jr. in Sunday's game against the Giants. A Redskin source telling our Britt McHenry Norman will go, quote, anywhere Odell goes except for slot. The source adding, we're going to let him earn the $75 million. Stephen A. is following him. Your reaction?
I love this.
Me too.
I love this. And I want to applaud the Redskins because they have reminded us they're actually capable of doing something right from time to time. I mean, miracles do happen, and this is one of those moments because Jay Gruden and Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator, there is no excuse on God's green earth why Josh Norman, who you went out in free agency, gave $75 million to $50 million in guaranteed dollars, okay? The biggest, one could make the argument, Max, Darren, the biggest reason Josh Norman got the money that he got was, I don't want to say because of his performance per se against Odell Beckham.
The results.
I'm just saying, the attention it drew, the fact that he was willing to put himself front and center. That's one of the reasons why you came to me, Max, and was talking about how we can't even question the competitiveness of Josh Norman. We know he's not scared because this is a dude that puts himself front and center, which means he was being restrained. He was being held back by the Washington Redskins. Oh, hell no. You are Josh Norman. You say you're one of the elite corners in the game. You, Max, have recognized Odell Beckham Jr. as one of the top 3 receivers in the game. Okay? You got him at #1 in the game, which is ridiculous. So you got all of that going on. No way on earth for Antonio Brown. Don't even get me started with him, Darren. I'm not going to even bother right now. The point is this. You have to take this assignment. My last point. I told you, a few Hall of Famers, one in particular who will remain nameless, who was very elite.
Did he make plays?
Who was very elite at that position.
Did he make plays?
Hold on. Said to me, quote, said to me, quote, you asked for that assignment when you play that position, talking about Antonio Brown on Monday Night Football.
Right.
You don't duck from it. So here it is. Josh Norman got to show us what time it is, and if Odell Beckham Jr. gets the better of him, So what? You got to accept that challenge.
I would expect this from the Cowboys, but I guess Washington, too. This is a great thing about being a Giants fan. You have poorly run organizations in the NFC East, so even when the Giants are inept, the others are even dumber. I mean, this is the perfect example of a poorly run franchise. Think about this. Norman's been playing really well. He's a valuable defensive player. Now, to justify the money you paid him, because you may have overpaid him, even though he has a lot of defensive value, you're going to misuse him? He can't cover Odell Beckham Jr.
You got to find out.
Well, we found out last year.
No, you didn't.
Odell dropped 2 passes, or it would have been like a million yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but
woulda, coulda, shoulda. There y'all go with this woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Here's the thing.
Well, so do you.
By the way, let's not act like Sterling Shepard didn't just go for over 100 yards. I mean, that kid can play, too. He can catch the ball, too. And Victor Cruz is back. So pick your poison. They can all play. All the receivers can play. The point is this. Washington is falling for the okie doke. It's Brer Rapp. Don't throw me in that briar patch. And it's working.
You have no heart.
They're responding like a bad franchise that they are to public pressure, and they're misusing the guy who's been playing excellent defense.
Or are they finally using him right?
No, they've been using him right.
What a coward. I mean, that's what you would do to your elite corner. Your elite corner. You're going to be cowardly and just hide him?
Cowardly? He's not a cover guy. You can be an elite defender and not be a cover guy.
Go ahead, Darren. I can't deal with him right now. Darren, I can't deal with him right now. I can't deal with him right now.
Get a little shot at the Cowboys. I got you, Max. I got the little shot.
I'm glad.
Go ahead, man.
Josh Norman is the guy. He's the guy that's supposed to be covering Odell Beckham. He's the guy that they should have had him on Antonio Brown. I think Deion is right. Deion Sanders, I played with Deion for 5 years. If Jerry Rice is going, we're going to see Jerry Rice, you absolutely believe that Deion Sanders was not going to have it any other way. He had to see him mano-a-mano, one-on-one.
Because he could cover him.
Yes. And it's the same mentality that Josh Norman has. I want my corner to be that guy that comes up to the meeting and says, look, he's my guy. I understand who you are, Breland. No disrespect. But that's my guy. Antonio Brown, I got him all day. Odell Beckham, I got him all day. Des Bryant, I got him all day. He's my guy. They paid me the money to be the franchise corner who's going to cover that guy.
Coach don't got to let him do it. He can say it. Coach won't allow him to do it.
Exactly.
And that's very weak.
But it's good. It's great for TV, for one. It's great for the organization. I think it's great for this matchup. We want to
does
see
it help
this
him win?
matchup.
Yes, it's great
It
for the
doesn't help
fans.
him win,
It's
but
good
that's
for
what matters.
Norman
And
to
it's-
ask for. It's great for
But
the
does it
fans.
help
It's bad
the
for
defense?
Washington.
to
No,
help them
it's not
win.
bad for Washington because there's a confidence builder. When my dog is out there and he's hunting and he says, I want that guy.
Yep.
Even myself, we used to play against good tight ends. I want that guy.
Aaron, you know what Max is not,
what-
you know what part that Max is not bigging up? You know what you're missing? The Redskins reportedly wanted to do this earlier, but they were a bit reluctant before going to Josh Norman in the second half against Dallas because they didn't want to get Breland irritated.
And
what I'm going to you can't be doing that. You got to throw that nonsense out the window.
You guys remember when
That's
they
what
met the
they
first
said.
time? I mean, Odell burned him. When Odell goes for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns this time, you'll see it was a mistake to not use Norman properly.
And he
Breland might be more of a cover guy than
You
Norman.
got to find out, man. You got to find out.
He may beat him for 150, 170 yards this week. And it's okay. I just think there's a confidence builder that goes along your team when you say, I got my dog, he's going to hunt, he's going to take care of that side. Now let's do our thing. And there's like a rallying cry about it. It's almost like you're practicing even harder, or you go into the game with more intensity, knowing that your cover corner is going to be there.
Can you answer a question for me? Is it possible to be a better player in the secondary, even if you're not as good a cover player? Like, isn't it possible that Breland's just a better cover guy, but Norman's a more valuable defensive player?
That's true.
So who do you want covering the best wideout on the other team?
But what you're seeing is Breland giving up touchdowns. Antonio Brown, 2. And then you're seeing...
So you'd rather see Norman give up touchdowns?
Absolutely.
Someone's about to give up some touchdowns.
I want to see the guy that I paid $75 million.
You want to see what he's got.
Okay, yeah, as a fan, of course.
No. I'm saying you pay, if I pay you that money, Max, if I pay you that money, think about this. You're talking about Carolina using zone read, zone schemes, etc., which is why Washington wanted Josh Norman, because that's what they employ. Right. While at the same time, that's a reality. The fact of the matter is you gave him that money because you want to you want him to be that dog.
You know, it's like you sign
$50 million.
You sign a pitcher who throws a sinker ball. He gets double plays. He gets ground balls. Now you're going out and asking him to strike someone out. That's not what he does.
No, listen, I want Triple G. Triple G calls out everyone in the middleweight division, doesn't he? Everyone. He's a dog.
The middleweight division, because he smashes everybody.
Josh Norman, same way. I want to be the
not
dog.
everyone's Triple G.
But he has the mentality. I want to be the guy.
You know what happens when people have that mentality against Triple G? That's the latest knockout victim.
He thinks he is. But he thinks he is. Let him find out.
He would be disabused of that notion.
Let him find out.
Well, fine, but if you're Washington, you should use them better, like you've been using them.
As a coach, you don't want to let him find.
Oh,
hold on. I pay you $50 million. I pay you $50 million. Hold on. I pay you $50 million, Max. I don't want you pay me $50 million. Right. You don't want to find out if I'm worth it?
Beckham to be mentally tough.
He's worth it on the other side of the field.
Anybody get in your head, ignore all the noise, stay focused, ODB. Thank you so much for being here. Always fun having you.
Are you scared? You sound a little scared, Molly.
I might be a teeny bit.
Odell
Beckham, we need you.
No.
Meanwhile, have you guys seen this? It's a bird. It's a plane. Nope, it's Tom Brady. Just kidding. It's actually Wes Welker, listed as pranking Pats fans Sunday. Unfortunately, they won't be seeing him for another 2 games.
I'm a football coach. I'm not a doctor. The medical staff is the medical staff. I coach the team. Medical people handle the injuries. They don't call plays. I don't do surgery. We have a great deal there. Works out good.
You wait for them to inform you of what the medical situation is and then you decide, or is it a situation where you evaluate and then...
I do what's best for the football team. Let me put it a different way. I'm the coach. I do what's best for the football team. I don't know why we can't understand that.
He sounds like you. No one can understand him, right? That was Bill Belichick yesterday answering reporters' questions on the quarterback situation. I say at least he's consistent, but is Bill Belichick too rude, Stephen A?
Not at all. Not at all. I have no problem with Bill Belichick whatsoever. I want to emphasize this. As a native New Yorker from Hollis, Queens, New York City, and very proud of it, by the way, we're like allergic to Boston and Massachusetts, liking anything up there. Okay?
Say it, nice
I mean, they are the enemy. Having said all of that, outside of the great Mr. Kraft, who I personally revere, I have such incredible admiration for him, had the pleasure of talking to him on several occasions in the past. I love the man. I am a huge fan of Bill Belichick. I told you my man Carlton, the caller that calls into my radio show, Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time every weekday, by the way. My man Carlton, who calls into the radio show from Massachusetts, I mean, I've never seen anybody so fixated on the demise of Bill Belichick in my life. He swears that Bill Belichick has cheated for the last 15 years. 7 years with Spygate and 8 years with Deflategate. This is what he says,
Wait,
okay?
Is Carlton a Pats fan?
Yeah, no. He hates
Okay.
he hates
He's
the fact
in
that he can't stand Bill Belichick. I sat up there and said, first of all, I don't want to hear anything about no damn cheating. Secondly, and more importantly, if Bill Belichick cheated, damn it, y'all should have learned how to cheat too, because he seems to be doing a pretty damn good job of it. He's a phenomenal coach. He has proven he is the greatest coach of this generation. And when you look at it from that perspective, let's be clear about something here. Sometimes people come and their whole claim to fame is about irritating you and doing what they can to bring you down. He doesn't take the bait. He doesn't bite. He's dry. He's very unassuming. He says as minimal as possible. He's not interested in being your friend. He is the football coach. That's what he is. He ain't trying to be anything else but that. And he consistently reminds you and consistently proves there is the Patriot way, which basically is the Belichick way. And it clearly works. 4 Super Bowl titles, 6 trips to the Super Bowl, numerous AFC championship
Ignore
games.
the noise, baby.
Bill Belichick is not rude. He's just, look, this is what he is. He ain't changing for you. Go ahead. You'll never look as great as me doing it. But the point is, he does what he does, and it works.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn. I got nothing but love for Bill Belichick. Nothing at all.
Bill
nothing.
Belichick is the greatest football coach of all time. About that, we agree. That's not what it is here. Is he too rude? We're talking about the way he treated this reporter.
Oh, please. What'd he do?
When
he answered the question. 3 different ways.
He is obnoxious while not only evading the question, but also being misleading and fundamentally dishonest.
How do you evade the question?
Now, some people can get away with it. Greg Popovich can do it, and it comes off as charming. Belichick does it, comes off as a jerk.
You don't think they're doing the same thing?
I don't know why exactly.
I love Pop too, but Pop's more rude than Belichick.
Hold on now. My turn now. Colin Kaepernick, before the whole controversy, went through a thing where he was kind of being standoffish with the media. It came off like he was being a jerk. Marshawn Lynch does the same thing. He's charming. At least I find it charming. I don't know what it is. The guy's personality, some people get away with it, some people can't. Popovich can do it because it feels like it's part of a shtick that even the reporter is in on it. Belichick does it. It's aggressive. It's angry. It's meant to humiliate the reporter. Now, let me tell you what's going on here.
Aggressive?
The question was a very straight. The reporter wants to take his readers inside, so he's saying basically what's happening. How much influence do you, what do you take into consideration whether you play Garoppolo or not?
Yeah.
The medical staff gives you an opinion, and Belichick says they do the injuries, they do the surgery, and I do what's best for the football team. Coach, the question very clearly is, what is best for the football team? Is it always just the short interest today? How do you balance that with the long-term interest? Because medicine, as I said earlier in the show, is an inexact science. It's not precise like astronomy or something. It's inexact. There's lots of gray area. The medical staff might say, yeah, he's cleared, but this is an injury that may be exacerbated. So if you want him for the next 2 weeks, he can do it, but he may not be so good going forward. It could compromise him in some way. And what the reporter is asking the coach is, how do you take that all into account and decide what to do? And Belichick is saying in a humiliating way to the reporter, not only am I not going to tell you, but I'm going to avoid the question, I'm going to mislead you, give you a fundamentally dishonest answer as though the medical staff and the coaching staff have no input with each other, that there's no one making some big final decision, and I'm going to do it in a way that embarrasses you and talk to you like you're an idiot.
Come
on, that's what he's doing.
Well, I'm not going to call out the reporter because I don't disrespect my colleagues and contemporaries, which is more than I could say for most dudes in this industry, even though I have the platform to do it on an everyday basis if I wanted to. Let me be very, very clear. When Bill Belichick speaks and he spoke to the reporter, he's basically saying, look, man, I answered your question.
No, he didn't.
I'm the coach. Okay, I make coaching decisions. I deal with guys on the field. The medical staff is the one who tells us if
But
these
what if the medical staff,
if the guys are available. If once they're available, then I coach them.
Right.
If they're not available medically, then they're not available.
No, we know
I find
that's
that to be
true.
very simple.
We know that's
how do we not know that? How do we know
the
that?
medical staff could say he is available to you today, but it could have a long-term negative consequence on his health. As the coach, how do you take that all into account? When you say I do what's what's best for the football team, do you mean in week 3 or the team throughout the season?
Hold on.
There's
Hold on.
lots
He doesn't
of
have
gray
to.
areas.
He doesn't have to answer that question.
No, but not only does he not answer it,
He doesn't have to answer that. He doesn't have to answer that.
No, that's not the
He doesn't have to
Or
answer
not,
that.
it works.
He doesn't have to
I'm with
answer that.
Stephen A. on this one. I like it.
You're both wrong.
Wish Bill Belichick was our coach. More for
Well, yeah, he's the best coach.
after the break.